Stan Sniff never intended to wear a badge. The descendant of pioneering date farmers in the Coachella Valley, he and others assumed he'd drift into the family business. UC San Diego and the Army took him away from the valley, but it was back home where the now philosopher soldier hopped into his first cop car, in the front seat, not the back. Those early ride-alongs ignited a fire for public service in Sniff.
I started riding along, like many people do, as kind of a volunteer with one of the local police departments after being coaxed for about 6 months because I really didn't want to get hurt and wasn't in that line of interest. And once I went out, I got hooked like many other people on the adrenaline surges and started spending all my time riding around with the local police department out in the Coachella Valley. And then my father kind of indicated to me, you know, are you working on the ranch or are you out riding for free all night because you're sleeping all day?
A stop at the San Bernardino Sheriff's Academy for training and a job with the Coachella Police Department led to the rank of sergeant. Seeking experience at a larger agency, Sniff transferred to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department in 1979. His career in Riverside County covered almost as many assignments as there are cities. Traffic Division Sergeant, Staff Officer for Sheriff Coas Bird, Watch Commander in the Southwest and the Northwest sections of the county, Commander of the Jail in downtown Riverside, Commander of the Banning Station, Commander of the Clark Training Center, Chief Deputy, and Assistant Sheriff. Today, as sheriff of one of the largest law enforcement agencies in California, Sniff credits his early life in the Coachella Valley, his military background, and perhaps surprisingly, his choice of college majors as factors that prepared him well for the job at hand.
I think about that quite often because you wouldn't see the logical connection there at all, law enforcement and a degree in philosophy. I know as I've had an interest in reshaping the department for the future that some aspects of those issues of critical thinking skills, ability to communicate, to create a vision and be able to impart that not only to the employees but also to the outside community, I think is part and parcel of that early time that I had that was grounded in philosophy.
Sniff ran for sheriff knowing that hard work lay ahead. County growth was placing monumental demands on the department. New deputies needed to be hired and trained. Veteran officers were ready and eager to advance in leadership roles. One of the answers lay in the partnership between the Sheriff's Department and Riverside Community College District at the Ben Clark Public Safety Training Center.
To that, there are a lot of portions of the school side of the house, the formal school side of the house, that can make us much stronger on language skills that are going to be very critical as we go forward. Certainly the decision-making and understanding of metrics, particularly on the leadership side, that is going to be so utterly critical, and the idea of training people in those things before they occupy the positions. And then certainly the issues of executive development are going to have a high payoff. And the bottom line is we're going to continue to build great law enforcement officers. The expectations are going to be higher and higher. But I think the real payoff is on the middle managers, senior managers, and executive managers in our agency and others. I think RCC is going to help us tremendously on bringing us not only current, but making our agency and other law enforcement agencies basically the epitome of what law enforcement should be across this country.
Throughout his career, Sniff has worked hard to stay involved, serving the United Way, military retiree community, Veterans Affairs, and Olive Crest Children's Homes, among many.
The public service, where that mantle of selfless service, I think resonates with certainly with me, and I'm certain a lot of folks in public service have that same feeling of doing something for other people. When you get an impact on an organization as large as mine, you have considerable impact on both doing good and doing bad. And I think that those of us that have that calling are interested in having our agencies and our organizations and our communities impacted to the good and making things better.
Sustaining that momentum with the public depends upon ingraining a larger view of public service within the department.
Primarily because I think it's important on those other aspects that supplement law enforcement and help us, kind of leverage us to do a better job out there. But it's also kind of important for those of us in government and leadership positions to end up being at those points so they can kind of signal to others in the community that there are other needs out there outside of government that also need to be supported to do a good job.
Tonight, we are proud to honor Riverside County Sheriff Stan Sniff for his distinguished public service.